And tucked down inside of here to keep them safe, the very last item that we want to show you is, I also want to say that I'm very grateful and deeply indebted to Libby Kephart Hargrave. Hello, welcome to WayPoint Survival. Today, we're going to talk about Horace Kephart's ideal one-man camp kit. Stay tuned. Like many of the men in the early 20th century, they weren't all real big people. As a matter of fact, most of us are considerably larger than our parents and grandparents in the modern age we live in. A lot of that's due to better nutrition and better medicine, as well as better sanitary conditions. Horace Kephart, in his article, The Ideal One-Man Camp Kit, said that his kit, on average, weighed about 30 pounds. Now, we know from backpacking and from carrying things around and from just a lot of experience that a person should carry no more than about 25% of their body weight. So Horace Kephart was, I don't know his height, I haven't found out from anyone, but I don't think he was a very big man. He was very slight of build. And one thing that you know is when you're a smaller person, everything that you use is smaller. Your clothes are smaller, just your hat is smaller. Everything can be smaller, which means you can carry a smaller and lighter backpack. So for someone my size, I'm about 5'10", 5'11", something like that. And this is a fairly heavy pack. This weighs about 50 pounds with everything in it. And it's a fairly comprehensive kit. It's got everything you need to camp overnight for 2 or 3 nights. This is a 3-day trip that he was planning for. And so without any further ado, let's dig into this kit and let's show you what we've got. Before I go too much farther, I just want to take a moment and remind you to go to our website at waypointsurvival.com and sign up for our brand new newsletter. That's Waypoint Survival and Prepping 101. Lots of great information. Comes out at least once a week, if not sooner. There's already a great backlog of articles that you're going to want to catch up on reading. We'd really appreciate having you along for the ride. It's totally free, so make sure to sign up now. Today, the kit that we're going to be looking at is the Ideal One-Man Camp Kit, which was an article written by Horace Kephart, April 3rd, 1927. And in this, he details the various things that you need for a person to camp out. And so we're going to go through the kit that we've put together based on that, and this is the one that we're going to be using when we go to North Carolina to camp like Kephart. I also want to say that I'm very grateful and deeply indebted to Libby Kephart Hargrave, who provided me with a whole lot of extra information that isn't widely available so that I could make these series of videos. Thanks so much, Libby. So part of what Horace Kephart carried would be on his person. He didn't want to have everything in his pack. He understood that redundancy was very important in case you would lose your pack or you would just be out walking, woods wandering as they would call it, and you needed to have a certain number of items with you. He didn't like to overload his pockets, so I've done videos on what's on his belt, and I'll give you just a really quick rundown. First of all, of course, the .22 automatic. Then, of course, the pouches that contain the fire-making kit. And then we've got this leather bag here, which is a possibles type pouch, which has, for instance, some first aid equipment in it and some sewing things, repair items, and all of that. Very important to carry. We have the double magazines here for the .22. And then we have the Kephart knife, the cold clesser knife that he loved to carry. This is an actual cold clesser. This is a reproduction. But anyway, so he had all of that in his pockets. Like I said, he didn't want to carry a whole lot in his pockets, but he would have a match safe. He would have a comb in a leather sheath, so keep it protected. He would also carry a bandana, handkerchief. There would be a 3-blade pocket knife. One of the knife blades kept razor sharp for surgical needs. He would also carry a change purse. This change purse was for multiple things. Not only could you open it up and carry your change in it, as we see in here, but we also have a pair of nail clippers, very important for personal grooming, and he would also carry his train tickets, or the stubs in here, to reclaim your baggage when you got to your destination. In the very back hip pocket here, we carry a waterproof rubberized pouch, which contains some toilet paper. What we have here is a 1930s era forestry pack, and it is a waxed canvas. You can see heavy duty leather straps. He preferred leather. They just wear better to cotton or anything else like that. It does have a tump line, which is for going across the head, and you can relieve the weight off the shoulders by doing that. This is also very helpful for crossing over a creek or a stream. If this is on your head, you shrug these off your shoulders. You carry this with just the strength of your neck, which is a primitive way of carrying things that many ancient peoples did. If this is just on your head, you can simply shrug your head, dump it off if you fall in the creek, and it won't drown you by your pack pulling you under. So something that's really nice, secondary, and also used to relieve the pressure off the shoulders, because as you see, these packs, they don't have any waist belts and they don't have any sternum straps. Everything's carried on the weight of the shoulders. The first item that we have on top is our sleeping bag, and this is a 1920s, 1930s vintage. It has a talon zipper. This is a wool lined sleeping bag, and it is the kind that is designed so it has a little roof that goes over top if you want, but we will be sleeping, of course, in the George tent. But this is a very nice and warm sleeping bag, which will keep you warm down into the 20s and 30s, assuming that you are dressed warmly enough. The next item that we come to in this bag is the folding lantern. I showed you this in the last video. This is a Stonebridge folding lantern, and we will be using that when we get to the campsite. We do have a couple of beeswax candles in here, so it'll give us plenty of light for 2 or 3 nights. We also have a knit cap along with some wool fingerless gloves for tactile dexterity. That's just to keep the hands warm at night, and especially if you're out and about and it gets cold, very handy to have those. Next, Horace Kephart did recommend carrying a flashlight, and this is an Ever-Ready with the fisheye lens, and has the flash on and off, and it does work quite well. And he recommended carrying spare bulbs and extra batteries as well. Next, we come to our pillowcase, and this pillowcase contains our extra clothing items. Now, Kephart loved to wear wool, and I'm actually wearing wool top and a wool undershirt right now, but we have wool underpants to also go along with that. These are 100% wool. And tucked down inside of here to keep them safe, we have our cardboard box. This is what he recommended making, with our eggs in it, with the extra toilet paper, tissue paper stuffed down in here, and you can see egg there. Keep our eggs stuffed in here, and that will keep them from getting damaged, as well as giving extra fire starter and tissue paper. And so this would be a very important thing, made out of thick cardboard and simply taped together. Tape was pretty common by then, so this is something that you would want to put together for your camping goals. Next, we have a very heavy pair of hand knit wool socks, very thick. Keep your feet nice and warm in just about all kinds of weather. This is especially important for sleeping, but even if your feet get wet, these will keep your feet warm in cold temperatures. We also have a nice wool sweater. It's 100% lamb's wool. And Kephart liked this for a layering system, and he liked grays and tans, so we've got that. We also have in here an extra handkerchief. This is a silk handkerchief. Kephart loved to have these. They don't chafe, and he would use this for a ligature, or we would call it a tourniquet today. And of course we have one around the neck, and we have an extra cotton one in the pocket. Last but not least, we have a couple pair of extra underwear and a spare pair of socks. And that pretty much does it for the extra clothes. And this pillowcase then, with the clothes stuffed inside and the eggs taken out, becomes your pillow at night so that you're not wasting any room. Next, we have our cooking ware. This is in a ditty bag. It's a waxed canvas bag. At the very top, we have a pair of unlined leather gloves held together by a safety pin. That's very important to have. We also have inside what Kephart recommended. We have a aluminum plate, and this is a wherever plate. This is really light, it's easy to carry, and it doubles as a lid for the frying pan, as you can see there. And then inside here, we have a spatula. And this is a spatula for eggs and bacon, anything else you would need, along with a rag. Now, Horace Kephart did not like aluminum frying pans, but especially the thin ones that are made for campers. He preferred these thin steel pressed pans, and this one has a folding handle. Comes up like this. You can see the attachment there, and you just simply pull it into place and it snaps in. He said this is the best folding handle frying pan that he ever saw, and its inventor was inspired. The next item that we see here sticking out of the bag is the George tent in its own nice little stuff sack. And of course you've seen that put up, and this is the one that we just recently colored and treated so that it blends a little better into the woods. Next, you will notice this is a rubberized canvas, and this is a ground sheet which also doubles as a poncho. Kephart said this is the only thing that was actually worth having that was dual purpose. The way that you use it is simply this. You open it up, it goes around the shoulders, just like this, and then I've got a couple of cords tied in here, and this goes around the neck like this, and you would just tie it into a regular bow like you would for your shoe. So again, not a very complicated knot. You can see that. And then this also will cover your pack, and as a multi-purpose, multi-use item, it can be used for all sorts of things. And of course, when we get to our area where we're going to be sleeping, this goes on the ground or goes over the pile of browse if you're using pine or some other type of branches to make a bough bed. This goes on top, and it keeps you from being poked by all the little leaves and the sprigs that are poking up, but it also protects you from ground moisture, which is very important. Now we come to our food items, carried in a couple of pots and in a nice little bag here. We open it up. In the first one, we have a dish towel. We have some sugar, a wooden container of salt. We have a tin of coffee. We also have the ceramic cup inside of the tin cup. And then we have the pouch that has the soap in it. In the next pan here, pot, we have more of our food items. First of all, we have some butter, which is wrapped up in this right here. It's very important. This is a press fit tin lid, so even if the butter does melt in warm weather, you can just stick it in a stream or let it get cool at night. And this is to keep it from rattling around. It also gives us an extra cotton cloth to clean things up with. And then we have our meat. We have both bacon, and we also have some beef for cooking over the fire. And both of these fit into this cloth bag, and they do stack pretty well. They're two different designs, and the lip on this one fits pretty well over top of the lid on the other one. And so we just pull this up around it, just like so. Give it a little bit of a twist, fold it over, and that goes down in the bottom of the pack. The next item we're pulling out is a rubber air mattress. And you can see the date on this. This is October of 1918. And this is exactly like the one that's in the museum where they have the remnants of Horace Kephart's gear. And this one does hold air. Well, we're getting to the bottom of the bag. We've got just a few more items. First of all, we have a cleaning rod buttoned in here. This is a cleaning rod for the 22 automatic, just buttoned together like this. See that? What that looks like? That's long enough to give it a good clean and make sure that it doesn't become oversaturated with fouling. We got that. We also have a small cleaning kit, and this pouch opens up, and inside we have a very small screwdriver. And this is a multi-sided screwdriver. It's got 4 sizes of flathead screws, as well as we also have a small flathead screwdriver in here, just shaped like this. The handles on either side of the grips, there is a need for a flathead on both sides so you can take the grips off and clean it a little more thoroughly. We do have a number of 22 caliber cleaning patches. We also have a real small bottle of oil for lubrication. And then finally, we have a 22 caliber pull through. And you just put the patch in that, You drop this through and then you just pull it through the barrel. That's an additional way to clean it besides the cleaning rod. We also have in this pouch our bug dope recipe to keep any bugs off. This time of year we're not going to have too much of a problem with that, but we're still going to carry it. We also have a box of 22 shells. And finally, Kephart recommended carrying this. And what this is a pair of goggles to keep the gnats out of the face. And the way it operates is you unfold these just like this. You come all the way around, and these are on hinges and they press fit around the outside of the lenses. So just like that, they are clear, so you're not hindered from seeing. And then you put them on, and these go around the ears so that it looks something like this. Next, we have a canvas bag with a drawstring on it, and inside we have our tent pegs. And we have a number of them for putting up the George tent. We also have some extra cotton cord just in case we need to use that, and that all rides in there, and that keeps it from puncturing anything and makes sure that no matter where we are, even though you can often carve and whittle sticks, it's good to have some of these along with you. Next, we have a small leather bag, and in here we have some very important and necessary items. First of all, we have the razor. You see that? This is a Schick razor. It opens this way. Pull the cap off, and then you simply rotate the head around so it opens like that. There is already a razor blade installed here, and then you can shave with it. Cap goes back on, and here in the back you slide this open, and there are extra razor blades right in there, held by this spring. We also have some carved silverware, woodenware, but a fork and a spoon for eating. These are very lightweight. We also have a double-ended shaving stick so that you can use both ends. And Horace Kephart did have one of these in his personal collection. And either end opens, so you rub this on your face, and that gives you your shaving cream so that you can stay nicely shaven when you're out and about. It was a big deal to keep up appearances. Kephart even recommended in this particular article bringing a necktie so that if you had to go into town you could be properly dressed. So keeping up appearances was very big. All right, in this little bag we have the toothbrush, and we also have, very importantly, a mirror. Now, mirrors are very useful not only for shaving, but also if you get a cut on your face, for first aid items, as well as emergency signaling. And so these would have been readily available back in those days, and in the 1920s and early 30s. And this just rides in here with everything else so that we can keep it nice and secure, and all of our toiletry items together in our little bag. Very last item that we want to show you is the axe that he recommended carrying. This is made by the CAC company. This is called the Damascus axe. It is not made from Damascus steel in the modern sense, but rather from Damascus razors, from a razor sharp steel. And this is a very unique thing. It's a very slender handle profile, but it has a really great knob on the back. Kephart really liked this, and he recommended carrying it. And there are various sizes that come, 16, 18, 20, 22, and 24. And it has a very unique features, actually a couple of them. First of all, you see the large flathead screw here. This is the 1909 patented Jones fastener. And what this is for is you unscrew that, and this will come out, and you can take the handle off at any time. You can also tighten it so your handle never gets loose. It's a wedge-shaped piece of steel that is cut out inside of the handle, and so it makes it very easy to take on and take off, as well as repair when you're out in the field. So it's quite a clever innovation. The other thing that makes this unique is it has a nail puller right here in the back. You can see what that looks like. and that allows you to hammer in nails, and then when you get ready to leave, you hook it on the tree, pull them out, and you can take your nails with you, so you only have to carry 2 or 3 nails for hanging things, and you don't just leave nails all over the forest. But this is a very, very handy axe, and it is something that Horace recommended and he himself carried and used. And then an item that Horace Kephart had in his personal collection that we'll be carrying on this trip, we have a U.S. canteen. And it's just the kind that has a stopper on top, a cork, and going to be carrying that so we have plenty of water. Of course, back in the day, Horace Kephart could have just drank out of the mountain streams, but we don't do that today because of a lot of pollution, and it's just not a good idea anymore, but we're going to carry this. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed this video as we've gone through the list of what Horace Kephart wrote about in 1927 as the ideal one-man camp kit. And I found it interesting. I've had a lot of fun doing a lot of research and pulling all this thing together, all of these things for you to look at it and see and enjoy. And like I said, make sure you stay tuned for the video where we're going to take this kit and we're going to go to North Carolina and we're going to go camping in one of Horace Kephart's favorite camp spots. This is James Bender for WayPoint Survival. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure and check out the links in the description box below just under the More button. While you're down there, you'll find the link for the WayPoint Survival digital class. This is where you can train in the comfort and convenience of your own backyard the top 20 skills that we consider to be the most important from our Phase 1 Survival and Bushcraft class. You'll also find the links where you can sign up for the WayPoint Survival and Prepping 101 newsletter. And believe me, you want to sign up for that. There's going to be some giveaways coming, and there's a lot of great information that comes out at least once a week, if not more often. You'll also find where you can sign up for the WayPoint Survival in-person classes, which we teach here at our beautiful training facility in Southern Ohio. And if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please do so. We'd really appreciate it. And when you do subscribe, make sure and press that bell button so that you can stay notified of all of our upcoming videos, and we'll talk to you next time.